This is the American Roundtable, your half hour of political power. I'm Al Spry.
And I'm Bill Strickler.
We have a whole great show on the new Trump presidency. What do we got to kick things off with, Bill Strickler?
We're going to talk about his first few days in office. He's actually doing something that, he's following up on his campaign promises, trying to reach out to the mayor of Chicago to make changes there. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, he's taking us out of that. And we'll talk about what economical leaders around the world are saying about why we lost money in that.
We'll also cover the Mexico wall. The Mar-a-Lago is doubling its initiation fee. And about a boy who is blackmailing his teacher over sex, which is a different twist on that story. This is the American Roundtable. We know you can't wait to join us. A whole lot of fun coming your way right here on Tough TV, the Tough TV Network, and Tough TV 38. Welcome back to the American Roundtable. So happy to have you with us. Well, let's talk about the TPP. The TPP, which is the Trans-Pacific Protocol or Trans-Pacific Partnership, they've used different terms for it, was a massive Asia trade deal. This trade deal made NAFTA look like playing marbles, basically. That's how big this thing is. But I'm really glad that Donald Trump actually took us out of the TPP. One of the things I was very concerned about was our involvement in the TPP and the continued sucking out of American jobs. So I wanted to get your take, Bill Strickler.
Well, there's one of the world's largest online retailer, Alibaba. The founder spoke in Switzerland at a finance meeting with leaders around the world, and his take of it was good for American companies, but they really didn't use the money correctly when it came back into the States. And he pointed out that in 30 years, America's been in 13 wars at a cost of $14.2 trillion. And I know that's been a subject that you brought up several times, Al, that if we have the money, we're actually spending it on wars.
Let's take a look at a clip about the TPP withdrawal by Trump.
Beyond his continued obsession with votes and crowd size, Trump spent most of his first Monday in office on repealing Obama's policies.
Great thing for the American worker, what we just did.
The president signing an executive action to withdraw the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
We're going to have trade, but we're going to have one-on-one.
Casting the free trade agreement between 12 nations as bad for American business.
Companies that left are going to come back to our country. They're going to hire a lot of people.
The president also signing two other executive actions, imposing a hiring freeze on most federal workers and reinstating a ban on funding for international groups who provide or counsel women on abortion. His policy moves coming on the same day he met with corporate and union leaders, warning U.S. companies against manufacturing overseas.
A company that wants to fire all of its people in the United States and build some factory someplace else and then thinks that that product is going to just flow across the border into the United States, that's not going to happen. They're going to have a tax to pay, a border tax, a substantial border tax.
And offering an incentive to stay in the U.S.
We think we can cut regulations by 75%, maybe more.
Well, as you could see, Bill, there is a passion on both sides of this, but I believe that the TPP was not good for America. I think the Chinese are going to spin it however they want because they're a globalist power, and they're going to try to blame America for just about everything. But I think ultimately when it comes down to it, it was not a good idea. We'll have a lot more for you here on this half-hour political power that we call American Roundtable, including, let's talk about that wall. Everybody's interested in that wall. We'll have that coming up right here on Tough TV and Tough TV 38.
Welcome back to American Roundtable. So we're talking global financing and what's going on in the world, what Trump's been doing in its first week of being president. As you notice, the world hasn't exploded, and we're all still here.
We are. In fact, the stock market is at its highest level ever, over 20,000 points in the Dow Jones.
You know, I think a lot of the things going on the campaign trail was there was a lot of fear. This would happen if Trump was elected. That would happen, and there was a lot of fear coming in. But it looks like the stock market is adjusted and is going up. Now, even though they say only 50% of the people will benefit from the stock market going up, you're going to have a lot of people, and I'd say more than 50% are going to benefit by that.
Yeah, I think that everybody benefits when the stock market goes up because it means that people are willing to invest in business, which grows the economy and helps our 401ks and our retirement plans. So I don't think it's. I think really when you look at something like the stock market numbers, you want to look at a trend. If you have a trend that says it's up, it means confidence in America is better. It means that we are actually reaching a place where people are more comfortable with risking their money. That's a good place. When the economy tanked and the Dow went to 5,000 some 8 years ago, this was not a good thing. So I look at it as a good thing. Plus, George Soros lost, $1 billion because he bet against the stock market going up. He thought that all hell was going to break loose in America when Trump became president. Instead, there's more confidence now than I've seen in a long time. I'm not talking about all the protests and all that other stuff, but I'm just talking about people in wanting to invest in business. To me, that's quite important.
Well, what I'm saying is also big labor is back in Trump. They're seeing these policies that Trump is putting into effect, that they're going to have more people working, they're going to get more members, and they've actually kind of like gone from being so on the Democrat side to now supporting Trump.
Well, let me tell you also why this TPP deal wasn't good. This TPP deal would have really, really hurt more American companies, more American jobs. This TPP deal was a bad idea right from the get-go. And as you know, we've been doing this show for quite a while now. I've never said really anything positive about the TPP. But I will say that it's very interesting to me that Bernie Sanders actually agrees with Donald Trump when it comes to the TPP. Bernie Sanders is basically saying that he agrees, and what we're going to hear in the next segment is we're going to have a clip which talks about another thing we're going to be talking about today, which is Mexico. So we'll be doing that as well, but I'd like to talk a little bit more with you about the TPP. There's this 12-nation deal. This was a key part of the globalism agenda. And if you don't know what the globalism agenda is, Trump is against the globalist agenda. I played a clip for you earlier, Bill, before we did the show. It was a clip from an old movie called Network, and it talked all about a corporate globalist agenda, not unlike Brave New World or 1984, where everyone is mollified and pacified and the individual is discounted, and it's all about the collective, and it's all about a big brother type character who will take care of you, and all human frailties, everything that makes us human is basically stamped out. And really, we become nothing but a number. So when you're looking at the globalist agenda, I know they want to talk about hearts and flowers and everybody getting along and no war. But what it really does is it crushes the human spirit. And if you're for crushing the human spirit, then you're a globalist. However, if you decide that maybe you're more interested in the benefiting of mankind by individual people in mankind, well then you would be referred to as, I like to say, an individualist. Or perhaps another good word would be a patriot. What do you think, Bill?
Well, I totally agree with you, Al. And the Jack Ma guy that we spoke of earlier with Alibaba that started that company, he said basically you're supposed to spend money on your own people. And I think that was part of the message that Trump had on his inaugural speech, is take care of our own people. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Let's do it. This is American Roundtable. More in a moment.
Welcome back to the American Roundtable. Let's talk about the wall separating the United States and Mexico. So the president of Mexico has canceled his scheduled meeting to meet Donald Trump, and he's basically saying we're not going to go for the wall.
Well, I don't see why they would go for paying for a wall. You know, it's if we want the wall, I think we'll probably have to pay for it unless they can slide it in some kind of back way. But the tension between Trump and Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto is reaching a very high level of stress. And here's why. Basically, there's this wall that Trump promised to build. In fact, at every rally, people were shouting, "Build the wall, build the wall." Okay, so it's a popular platform. He really needs to build the damn wall, or he's going to lose. He's going to lose. He's going to lose all credibility. I personally am not a big wall guy. I think we actually should be taking down walls instead of building more walls. But that said, I think that something needs to be done as far as border security. And if it's a wall, I guess so be it. But Enrique Peña Nieto told his country in a televised address that Mexico does not believe in walls, quote, will not pay for it no matter what Trump says. Quote, I regret and condemn the decision of the United States to continue construction of a wall that for years has divided us instead of uniting us. And now I'd like to play a little clip relating to this wall decision and what's going to happen.
When it comes to the wall, there's a figure that's out there between 8 and 14 billion. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. Is that okay with Republicans in Congress to spend that money?
It is okay with us to make certain that we secure that southern border. When you look at the cost to society and to the American taxpayer with what is happening with a lack of border control and the inflow of labor trafficking, gangs, sex trafficking, weapons, and whoever knows whatever else. It is important that we get a handle on that border and that we secure it. I think that giving that peace of mind to the American citizen and letting them know that their communities are safe. Bill, as we have looked at different things, national security, jobs and economic security, retirement security, those are things that are at the top of the heap. And of course, securing the southern border and dealing with terrorism, dealing with immigration issues, all of those are top issues.
I just want to slide one more question in here. As you know, President Trump says Mexico will pay for it. And the Mexican president, who's due in Washington next week, says forget about that idea. And last hour, President Trump said if you're not going to pay for it, call the meeting off. Do you think the Mexican president should come here next week or not, given that?
I think the Mexican president should come. He should meet with the president, the administration, congressional leaders. We should discuss this issue. It cannot be good for the Mexican people to have these coyotes that are trafficking people coming through their country.
Yeah, so
we know that,
endorse the
and we
meeting.
realize that.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. That's the position of the Republican Party. They're going to get it done. I believe that this is something that is really a non-negotiable thing with Trump because he ran so hard on it. Your thoughts?
Well, you got to look at it this way. A wall is a means of control. So what is it that Trump is really trying to control? Why is a wall
immigration
more effective than just surveillance? And I think in the recent past, we've cut down on border control. We have had less people. Yes, we've seen people jumping over the border. We catch them and then we just release them. So there's a whole situation involved here. It just isn't about a wall. It's about policy. And if the United States has laws, why don't we enforce them? I mean, to me, that's what it comes down to.
For decades, we have let people come across this country to work in what they call a gray area, and I think it's really better for Mexican people and immigrants. And I'm for a path to citizenship for Mexican immigrants, even if they are illegal immigrants, as long as they haven't committed any crimes. I think that that's the best way going forward. More in a moment on American Roundtable. Welcome back to the American Roundtable on Tough TV, Tough TV 38. Well, if you want to be a member of the exclusive Winter White House, now known as Mar-a-Lago, of course, Donald Trump's jewel in Palm Beach, and if you want to hang out there, it's going to now cost you twice as much. That's right. The initiation fee, which is just the fee to become a member, has gone from $100,000 to $200,000. No, not pesos, U.S. dollars. And then you'll have to pay an additional $14,000 in annual dues. According to Bernd Lemke, the club's managing director, he confirmed the price spike, causing a great deal of consternation, including from President Obama's former ethics lawyer, part of an advocacy group, filed a lawsuit against Trump. Maybe he just doesn't want to pay the money. He said the estate is nothing more than naked profiteering. The thought of our president naked, not something I want to think about at the moment, but it's naked profiteering, would be more befitting a kleptocrat like Louis XVI. That's the guy that got his head chopped off. Your thoughts?
Well, Al, let's tell the real story here, okay? The real story is it used to be $200,000. It was decreased in 2010 because of the recession.
And also the Bernie Madoff madness, too.
Right, so it had been there for years, and then it was dropped to $100,000, and now it's taken it to $200,000, so maybe he's got real confidence that people will be able to pay it.
Well, it's not just the confidence. He's the president now. If you want to hang out with the prez, you're going to pay another $100,000. And when you're that rich enough to be a member of Mar-a-Lago, another $100,000 is really not that big of a deal. So I think it's just a non-issue. I think the guy probably didn't want the increase. Maybe he's a little PO'd about that. Or it's another thing to attack Trump on. You know, there's always things that they like to attack Trump on. And so this Mar-a-Lago thing, I believe that's fine. I mean, why not? If you want to be a member, you got to pay for it. That's the way it works in this country. They don't just give memberships away, except to cool guys like us, that is.
No, wait, I'm waiting for it to come in the mail, Al.
I'm waiting for it, too. That's why we'll talk to our friend Roger Stone, see if he could swing us some deal. Maybe a little discount, like a media discount or something like that. But I think it's going to be fine. I think that when you're the president, it's worth the extra $100,000 to hang out with him. You know, he did win the election.
Well, you know, you have to take a look at Hillary with the amount of money she made on her speaking engagements.
Absolutely.
I mean, she made a ton of money, so did Bill.
Well, this is American Roundtable. Some final thoughts for you right after this.
Welcome back to American Roundtable. This is the segment where we try to have a little bit on the lighter side of things, Al. So why don't you tell us about the schoolboy and his teacher in Texas?
Well, you've heard of these teacher sex stories, you know, they come out every week or so, it seems. But this one has a twist. The boy who has the sex with the teacher, Thao Doan, 27, go by Sandy, she actually met a kid who I guess became a boy businessman. He blackmailed her for nearly $28,000 to keep their sexual trysts secret. And this is a Texas middle school teacher. She was charged with having sex. He blackmailed her. So the 14-year-old boy, this happened back in 2015, according to the Dallas Morning News. She was arrested Friday, this past Friday, charged with sexual assault. And it came to light this month, you're going to love this, after the boy's mother said, all of a sudden, "Why do you have all this money, son?" I mean, he got 28 G's from her. That's a lot of money in blackmail. All of a sudden, he's buying all this stuff. He's got all this coin. What mom isn't going to get suspicious of that?
Yeah, she was suspicious, and she thought he was doing something common, like dealing drugs. She didn't have a problem with that, but she had a problem with the money.
He's not going to be charged because, you know, he was the victim there, but he's 14, so.
What a businessman.
You know what? He made the best of a situation. He got sex, and he got money.
We'll have to check it out in 20 years.
He's a future Donald Trump, maybe, or something like that.
Not a Donald Trump. Maybe it'll be on broad.
Well, I mean, as far as a businessman.
Yeah.
Now, you have some information on aluminum.
Yeah, there was an article out a couple weeks ago about how people with Alzheimer's, when they're doing autopsies, they're finding a lot of aluminum in people's brains. And they're suggesting to get rid of your aluminum frying pans, anything that you cook with. It's like you have aluminum frying pan, then this actually transfers into the meat.
Yeah, it leaches. It can leach. Now, aluminum foil's okay, but make sure, here's an important one, and I've read about this for years. This is nothing new. Aluminum is put into a lot of products, including underarm deodorant, the pans like you talked about, into some foods. Here's something that can combat the aluminum in your brain. High silica water, like a Fiji water, has a silica in it, makes it taste kind of smooth. You want to drink that kind of water, because that can actually cleanse the brain of the excess aluminum. That's all we got, folks. Your half hour of political power is over, but not for long. We'll see you next week right here on American Roundtable on the Tough TV Network and Tough TV 38. Remember, keep it real and keep it tough.